Welcome back to the visual only pre-show, y'all. We did just record, so there's not a whole lot to update on. The Bachelor is on tonight, so we don't really talk about that, but
yeah, we don't have the chance to. We're pre-recording a bit. So yeah, we don't have the chance to catch up on The Bachelor. I'm a little heated, but Katie, I want to get your take on this. So I'm going to bring it to the pre-show here because it kind of goes off of, if you listened to last week's episode, our Malcolm and Marie episode. If you haven't yet, please go listen. And in that episode, I brought up that some people were critiquing the age gap in Malcolm and Marie. And then just last night on TikTok, of all places, there was some drama about age gaps because this one girl that I do not follow, but one of the people that I did used to like mutually follow duetted her video. And in this video, this girl is recommending age gap books, and she like disclaims that they're like all for 18 and plus audiences. Are you gonna lay down while we record today? I
sorry.
love it. And so then this one girl that I follow, which I don't know her at all. Like we just recently started following each other, and like her content wasn't my favorite anyway, so it's not like a huge loss for me. But then she duetted it and she was like, I'm just going to point out like this and kind of like just rant on about age gaps and like why you shouldn't read them and why it's wrong for this girl to recommend them. And I'm just like, why are you calling this out? Like, I don't really get what you're trying to gain from this. I didn't get involved. I was just like watching from the side because I'm like, I'm not trying to fight with anyone on the internet. But she was just saying she's like, it's like fetishizing like young girls, even though like all of these books that were recommended, all of the women are over 18 in these books, like all of that. I've read every single book that this girl recommended to, and like none of them are like creepy in any way. And she's like, we shouldn't be sending that out to such a young audience. But then like this girl, I looked at her page and her entire page is like romance books, and it's like all for an older audience. And this girl is like, I assume near our age. She looks older too. So I'm like, she can't control whose videos it pops up on when her entire content is for like 18 plus. It's like, are some random younger people going to come across it? Yes. But it's like she can't do anything about that. So it's like anything that you put out on YouTube or like podcasts or TV shows, it's like there's always a chance that someone younger is going to see it than they're supposed to be. And I just didn't really get why this girl felt the need to like shame this other girl for recommending these books. And I don't know, it just got me kind of heated. And I was like, Katie, am I in the wrong on this of being like, why is it wrong that she's recommending
No, dude.
when they're all legal?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're in the wrong at all. That is, people just, we've said before, like, people just like to have things to be mad about. I think that's stupid. As long as it's consensual and legal, like, who gives a flying fuck? It's definitely not the same as like your sexuality or anything, but it's your sexual preference, or like it's just your preference of who you want to date and who you want to be with. And it's not even that, it's your preference of what you want to read. Like at the end of the day,
book.
yeah, that doesn't mean like, I don't know. It just seems like very shamey.
Right?
And there's really not harm being done.
That's how I was feeling towards it. It wasn't even just like a critique. It felt like shaming. And I'm just like, I'm not about that. Like no one's telling you what you can and can't read. And then it's like, what about people who are in actual age gap relationships that then like see you knocking on them? And it's like, again, like I just don't get why it affects you personally and like why she had to input her just like negativity for really no reason. So it just kind of got me in a bad mood last night. And this girl, then I realized, so we used to be like mutual following each other. And then after I put out my last painting video, which is from like this book right there, which is like a dark suspense mystery romance book, she unfollowed me after that. So I was like, well, I'm unfollowing you because I don't like your because I was like, I don't really like your content anyways. And then when I saw that she did that, I was like, I don't need this kind of negativity in my life. And seriously, I don't know. We had just talked about age gap last week. So then to have that pop up, I was just like, I got to bring this up to Katie and see. Cause I'm like, I might just be like too desensitized that like maybe I don't see what's wrong here. And I know Katie would tell me, but it did just feel shamey. And I'm not here for it.
I think like any content can be misconstrued or like taken the wrong way, and like in the wrong hands, it can be a bad situation. Like The Bachelor can be bad if you're you know, watching it and thinking that like that's how relationships should be, or like
Mhm.
I don't know, just literally anything. Like 50 Shades could be potentially problematic
Mhm.
for obviously people who are too young to be watching it, or people who might like have experienced abuse in the past or whatever. Like everything isn't made for everybody.
Yeah.
And I know that I have like complained about stuff before too and been like, this is so harmful to the youth and everything. But this, I don't know. It's just like people's preferences, and it's like people's reading preferences and like the way that they choose to spend their time. And like that doesn't mean they're saying that all relationships should be an age gap, or like it's not like they're disregarding that certain things are like not appropriate. And I
Mhm.
don't know, like it's okay to acknowledge that like it's weird that Trump is married to his wife or whatever, or like old men. Like I get that that kind of weirds people out, but at like if I don't know, at the same time it's just like you got to let other people live their lives, and like as long as, again, as long as it's consensual for both parties, like I and you know the person, like they're both older than 18, I really don't see much of an issue with it. Like I can be weirded out by it maybe
It
if it's
cannot be
like
your thing, but
right,
then just don't do it.
if it's like a 50-year-old guy and a 20-year-old girl, I might like raise my eyebrows a little bit, but I wouldn't say to the girl like you're disgusting, or say to the man you're disgusting, you know. I just wouldn't personally be involved in a relationship like that.
Exactly.
And maybe I'd be slightly judgmental and like talk shit on the side, but that would be the extent of what I did. I wouldn't like go to the fucking police or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, if it's not your business, like just do what you want to do. As Katie said, as long as it's like legal, consensual, I don't really get why it's anyone else's concern, and enjoy the type of books that you want to enjoy, watch the movies you want to watch, the TV shows, like consume whatever you want to consume.
Yeah,
But like let's just let other people do the same. I don't know. It
I
came off
agree.
as rude to me. So thank you for letting me talk about that. And I kind of felt like I was talking about 50 Shades today, because I felt like we might get into that topic of like this relationship being portrayed on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can't control what younger people are gonna see
Mm-hmm.
before they're like before they're 18. Because it's like, I know
Yeah,
there was stuff that we watched when we were younger that like should not have
definitely.
watched until we were older, but we did, and whatever. We both turned out fine, mentally unstable, but fine.
Yeah, I don't think any of the content we watched influenced any of the issues that I currently have.
Mm-mm. Except maybe when we watched the Virgin Diaries, and then we just wanted to drink schnapps. But we had already been drinking schnapps, but then we were just like, we should really drink schnapps even more now. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember that?
True.
Bitches love schnapps.
Yeah.
If I ever smell that again, I think I will just vomit on site.
I feel like it has such a low alcohol content.
It's probably just straight sugar, honestly. I
Ugh,
have not had that since we were 16.
children. Yeah, little
Because then from that, we
girlies.
graduated to the strawberry lemonades Fedka, and then that was our ride or die for, excuse me, years.
Yep. It's so weird to think that we just like drank like that when we were younger. I don't know. I don't know why I just said that, but like now I can just walk into a grocery store and buy whatever the fuck I want. Like, but back then we like had that one girl who like always bought us stuff. And like, I wonder where she is now. Like, what's up, girl, if you're listening?
Oh, wait, I still follow her on Instagram. She seems to be doing
Oh,
good.
oh, good. Okay. Yeah, she was the OG hookup. And then yeah, I had my fake ID in college. I would just like go to the liquor store and they'd be like, "You having a party?" And I'd be like, "Nope, just me."
Nope, all for me. Thank you very much.
And now I just like pick it up with my groceries.
No,
It's like how
that's
we've
you gotta swing
evolved.
by. Although going into the liquor department makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know why. I get very anxious going in there. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. It just does. It makes me very anxious. So I try to buy in bulk whenever I go in there so I don't have to go in very often.
I feel at home there, and I also buy in bulk every time I go.
I'm doing a bar cart right now for my apartment. We're doing something and I'm very excited for it to have like a whole
Cute.
little designated space for it all.
Oh, I
So
love that.
yeah, I'm really excited. It's getting expensive, but
Yeah.
but oh,
Remember that guy from Orange Leaf that would always get the huge tub of fucking birthday cake?
I forgot about him. Wonder
Where
where
is
he
he
is
now?
now.
Probably 6 feet under, let's be honest, if he kept eating like that.
I completely forgot about that guy. Oh my god. He was literally called birthday cake guy and like he would only come in and only get that flavor, no toppings.
Yeah. You know what I also remembered about Orange Leaf was that time I got frostbite because you guys drove off while I was hanging on to the top of the car. And I literally saw my life flash before my eyes and my fucking slides fell off my foot and hit me in the ass. Oh.
That was not safe. That was a
No,
bad
dude.
idea.
Like that's literally something that you see on Dateline and then she died. And
But
her
she
friends
didn't.
felt horrible. Yeah, I
Ugh.
held on for dear life and might burn the skin off my hands.
Yeah, we actually did a lot of questionable things. Like
Psychotic ass.
safety things, other things that I don't know about.
All right, should we get into this
Should we jump
motherfucker?
in?
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Whoa. Okay, let me pull
Oh,
up GarageBand.
at least you are upright.
I'm on the floor again though, so
I noticed that. I
I
wasn't
think I'm
gonna
gonna
say
be on the
anything.
floor until I move because like my chair is in that room and it's pink, so I have to like unfold it to get it through the doorway to bring it in here and then like unfold it. And I just don't want to do that. And if I film in the other room, then I would have to bring in like the stool and the ring light in there. And I just don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna sit on the floor until I move and can have a more permanent location.
Recording.
In 3, 2, 1. Buckle up, because it's gonna be a long ride.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
No one cares, but we're gonna tell you anyways.
This is Popcorn Chats. Okay, I have a fucking pimple. What's up, girlies? Oh shit. Am I allowed to say girlies? What's up, guys? Welcome. Well, guys is also gendered. Where the fuck are we? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Popcorn Chats. I'm Katie.
And I'm Michae.
We're off to a rocky start. If you're watching, mind your business. I am laying in bed. And let's just move on. Today we're covering the only Valentine's Day movie. The only Valentine's Day movies. Twilight fanfiction. It evolved into a book series. Mm-hmm. And now it has taken its final resting place as a movie franchise. Dakota, what's her name? And Jamie Dornan.
Dakota Johnson. Get it right.
Sorry, girly. Yeah, we're talking about motherfucking 50 Shades. BDSM
The
in
Cringe
this
series is back.
The Cringe series is back, and she's back with vengeance. Because we're having 2 Cringe series this month. We covered To All the Boys last week, and that's a cringe. And now we're talking about 50 Shades. I apologize if my vibe's a little off, but if it needs to be off in any episode, I elect it to be off in this one. And it's not off, it's just I'm a little loopy magoopy because I worked for 8 hours today at a part-time job that literally breaks my soul. So keep your opinions to yourself.
I work a full-time job that also cracks at me every day. But, yeah, I'm okay. Almost halfway through the month. We're just trying to get through. Let's see. I'm going to be going to Florida here in a couple of weeks. Or actually, no, I'm in Florida right now as you guys are listening to this. Don't worry. I'm literally sitting just in a timeshare down there. We're literally just flying down there to sit at that place for a full week. Mm-hmm. Not see anyone, not go anywhere, not do anything, but just sit in the sunshine because we have like 15-foot piles of snow and it's -2 degrees. So I'm just trying to look forward to
Yeah.
that. But I'm really scared of flying. But actually, I've heard from a lot of people that flying is not that bad. Like that they've been flying and that it's not bad. That they're like really careful. I started a new book today because I finished another book this morning, and it's a Hades and Persephone retelling, which I'm here for. I'm really into it. It's good so far. I don't really know anything about their story, so I don't really know how it's all gonna play out. But it's like a modern day, but it's like still them and like the Greek magic or the Greek mythology system and everything. I don't know. It's a vibe. I'm only like 4 chapters in, but oh my god, wait, no, actually, other exciting news that I don't know why we didn't bring this up in the pre-show. Katie could maybe possibly run into Shailene Woodley at some point over the next like year.
Dude,
Because
yeah.
Katie lives in, if you guys don't know, she lives up in the like Green Bay area, and now Shailene Woodley is supposedly engaged to Aaron Rodgers, who is the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
It's really a missed opportunity because I should have been keeping my eyes peeled for her this whole time, but I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that they were dating. And now the Packers season is over and they're probably back in California because why the fuck would you stay here? It is
Yeah.
so fucking cold. There's salt everywhere. My car is supposed to be black, but she's white. I mean, if they're still here, they're mentally ill because
Like the
it
rest of
is
us.
a wasteland here, yeah. Because I would have been hunting them down. I'm trying to find his house, which I know it's creepy, but also you would do the same. Um,
And I did say on our 1 year anniversary of Popcorn Chat that my dream guest on the pod would be Shailene Woodley, so we need to track her down.
yeah, that's a thing. It's a work stalking, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's for work. If I see her out and about, I will be on hot pursuit. If there's ever a protest or something, I feel like her and I would probably be the only two people that showed up because no one here is woke. So I will be attending every pipeline protest.
Anyways, Katie, how are you doing?
Nothing's really changed since the last time we spoke. I guess I don't know how my life will be going when this episode comes out. So I guess stay
Oh,
tuned
true.
for March to hear about what's going on with me. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just trying to live my goddamn life and get that bag, but also not work every hour of every day.
Your birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for my birthday. I took an unreasonable amount of time off of work, but I need it. I'm not sorry about it. Yeah, there's really nothing going on with me. I enjoyed watching these movies this weekend.
So, guys, I mean, every February, when February rolls around, Katie and I have kind of talked about this that we just have certain movies that we like to watch certain times of year. And 50 Shades is just a February moment, you know? It did
Yeah.
come out in February, all of them did, but there's just something, I don't even think it's Valentine's Day. I think it's just something about the vibe of the movie and the vibe of the month. It just works. It makes sense.
Dude, yeah, I totally feel that. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is. I think it's like the snow kind of melting. Obviously, it's not melting right now, but sometimes in February it's like the end-ish of winter or like it's at least getting sunnier out and I
Mm-hmm.
also like listening to this soundtrack and all three of the soundtracks are so fucking good. Like I like
Yeah.
listening to the music from these movies around this time of year. Like I'm just in the mood for it. Just the aesthetic of the whole movie. It's very like cool and crisp and like elegant and Valentine's
Yeah.
Day vibes. And I agree with you that it's not necessarily like Valentine's Day, but I do enjoy Valentine's Day with Jack and I don't know. I make a point to watch at least the first movie every year around this time. It's always on TV around this time, even though the TV version is lame as hell, bitch. We'll get
I
into
don't get why these are
that.
syndicated. I don't understand why out of all the movies they syndicated these because it makes no sense. Why you took out all the good parts.
I think if people see that it's playing on TV though, they're gonna watch and it's good for
Oh,
like
I do that all the time.
advertisings. But the first one came out in 2015 and I just remember everybody was so abuzz about it. Obviously, it's been a huge hot topic like ever since the book came out and kind of taboo, but also everybody loves it. And everybody who is not loving it, you're lying. Like, I don't like how some things are so popular and everybody's like, "Oh, that's dumb," or like raising their eyebrows at it. Like just lean into it, bitch. You love it. It's an enjoyable movie to watch. Honestly, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of bad things to say about this. I know, surprise, surprise, but I kind of just let go and let myself have fun. I got drunk. I watched these movies. I had a great ass weekend.
I think, guys, you just gotta let yourself enjoy these. These were not made to be Oscar nominated films. These were made
No,
for enjoyment, and that's what they're here for, okay? They're not here for Katie and I to dissect and be like,
no.
we're not looking at these like we looked at Malcolm and Marie the other
Oh,
week, you
yeah.
know? Like, these are a purely different type of film. I don't even say like one is better than the other because objectively I enjoy both. I mean, like critically, one is obviously better than the other, but objectively, like I enjoyed the hell out of myself watching the three of these. And I'm not gonna lie, I watch them, or I watch at least, like Katie said, the first two. Because 50 Shades Darker is my favorite, that I watch the two movies probably at least once a year, like once around this time of year every year, because it's just a fun time. I enjoy
Yeah.
myself every time I watch them. And again, as if you listen to our pre-show that Katie and I did for this episode, you can check that out on YouTube. Like, don't shame other people for what they want to watch, what they want to read, what they want to consume. Just let everyone vibe to what they want to vibe to. And Katie and I want to vibe to 50 Shades this week, so we're going to be talking about it.
I can enjoy a serious movie like Malcolm and Marie, and I can enjoy this. It's just two different mindsets that you have to be in. If I watched this
Mm-hmm.
movie with the same critical lens that I was viewing Malcolm and Marie with, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, and that would have just been a
No.
waste of time. And I know this sounds, again, strange coming from me. I don't know if I'm a new woman or if it's like these movies just have a special place in my heart for some reason. It's just nostalgia for me. Like, I remember when this first one came out, and it was just fun to go watch it in the theaters, and like, there wasn't content like it at the time. You know, now we have
Mm-mm.
shit like Shameless, the TV show, and Bridgerton, and all sorts of stuff where you're literally basically watching porn, and it's not really the way it used to be. But back in 2015, this was crazy stuff. And to be watching 50 Shades when you're kind of young, like we were 17, 18, and like it was fun. It felt dangerous. It felt like, and that sounds so dumb, but it was fun. It felt like an experience.
Like what I said with the after movies, like guys, I don't like those movies because I think they're like good critical movies. I like them because they are enjoyable to me to just like turn off my mind and watch this mindless sexy drama.
Yeah, turning off
That's
your
like kind of the
mind.
same thing. As that's kind of like the same vibe that I go with these. I do like these a lot better than those, and they are much better than those, but it's along the same wavelength. I don't want to always get in my feels or feel like my mind is like expanding to another universe because of like the content that I'm receiving. Sometimes I
Right.
just want to watch hot people live a life that I will never live. Okay. Okay, normally we do standout cringe star and standout cringe scene, but for these, do you want to just do standout star and standout scene? Although I do have standout cringe scene in each of the movies, so we could keep those, but we could do like standout star and then standout cringe scenes.
Yeah.
Would you rather do that?
Yeah, let's do that. It's hard to pick a cringe star. I mean, it's all cringy, but it's also all good. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I like Anastasia. I don't know. I like Bella Swan too. I know she's shy, but she's also sassy. And I think this movie is a bit deeper if you want it to be. Like she's in control except when she doesn't want to be, you know, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. She's strong-willed. I love seeing her growth across the three films. Her resilience and being like I want to keep working even though I have this man. She doesn't completely give in to him except when she wants to, you know? She's meant to be one of those girls where you can see yourself in her. Like, she kind of lacks some confidence, but she also knows who she is a little bit. And I think she's just the type of heroine that you're supposed to be able, like, any average girl is supposed to be able to project herself onto. And obviously, I don't see myself fully and completely in her, but, you know, it's fun to she's just a fun character to watch. She's an easy character to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I don't get the like Anastasia Steele slander. Like, not every female character needs to be like really outgoing or really over the top or like funny or witty or really like strong and badass. You know, like not every single female character has to be like that. And she shows her strength in very different ways. Like you said, she's never she's never not in control unless she doesn't want to be, and that's her choice, and that's just as much of a strength as any other type. And
Yeah.
she's quiet, but she's not weak. Like, she's very strong, and I don't know, I vibe with Anna as well. I don't think that she's a shit character just because she's quiet and like is in this more dominant relationship with a man who sometimes overpowers her, because when he does, that's because she wants him to, but she has him in the palm of her hand just as much as she is in his. I actually see this as like a very equally balanced relationship.
Yeah, it's definitely not like as toxic as Hardin and Tessa, where like Tessa doesn't really know what she wants from Hardin, and Anastasia knows what she wants from Mr. Grey. And she does kind of go back and forth on him a couple times. They break up like once and get back together though. So it's not like this back and forth like fucking Hardin and Tessa.
And she knows what she wants out of life too. Like, there's just there's a maturity in both of them. Anna always has a clear idea in her mind of what she wants and what she doesn't want. Christian becomes something that she doesn't want. They break up. They get back together. Like, she's very clear. You always know kind of what she's thinking. So I like her. I like her character. And it's just something different. You know, I don't mind seeing a character like this play out on screen.
Yeah, and she's sexy and she's living like a pretty cool life that was kind of came at her out of nowhere. She is a good friend and a good person at the end of the day, and she listens more than she speaks, which isn't always a good thing. Like, I'm not trying to say women should be seen and not heard or whatever, but when she speaks with purpose and conviction. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting way too like defensive over Anastasia. She's a fun character to watch, and she's a big draw for me in this movie.
Yeah.
And she's showing her titties, which good for any actress who is like confident in herself enough to do that. Dakota Johnson, good for you, sister.
So in the first one, when she's signing the contract over at his apartment for the first time, and then she turns to him and she just asks him if he was going to make love to her now.
Ew.
That line, it's so bad. It's so cringy. I get secondhand embarrassed every single time I watch it, and it never lands.
No.
Never once. It never escapes my attention. Like, it's like I'm zeroed in on it and I'm just like, yeah.
For the first movie, the first thing that comes to mind,
I'm 50 Shades of fucked up.
Dude, yes, that's what it is. When he says I'm 50 Shades of fucked up. Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know if this is controversial on here or not, or if I'm gonna say something, if this is a hot take, but Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan are not bad actors. I would like to see other people trying to deliver these lines convincingly, and I think they would struggle just as much. Like, it's not that they're bad actors, it's that they were given some questionable material to try to deliver, and I think that they did their best.
I agree.
I've seen them both in other roles, and I think they're both very good in those other roles.
I 100% agree. I think the only times where I'm like taken out of it is literally just because of the shit that is coming out of their mouth. It's like nobody would say that. And they come off as very like real people. I know that they're characters and everything, but they come off as very like effortlessly comfortable in these roles. Yeah, the only time I'm like, that was horrible is when it's the dialogue and not necessarily their delivery of it. Because it's impossible to deliver that line of like, are you going to make love to me now? I don't make love. I fuck hard. I'm a virgin.
I know. It's like try to get Meryl Streep to even say that. Like, I don't think Meryl could either. I don't think she could even convince me that that was a well-written piece of dialogue. In 50 Shades Darker, again, another line when they're laying in bed after they first get back together, and she goes like, I was trying to be romantic and you distracted me with your kinky fuckery.
No, thank you.
Once again, horrible.
In the second one, I would say just the dude at the end burning the picture of the family with his cigarette. Like, the villain in these films is absolute garbage, and I think that end scene where it's like trying to be suspenseful, it's just like, can we just keep this as a romance? I don't need suspense. Like, I don't need somebody trying to break them apart.
And in the last one, actually the last one, I don't really have as many cringy moments, if I'm gonna be honest. I think the only one that always catches me weird each time is when she's cooking him dinner and then she says something about being in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah, that made
That
no
like whole
sense.
situation is awkward and it feels weird in the movie. I don't know. It like always takes me out of it.
I would agree with that actually, because first of all, it's like a very awkward way to start that conversation about, oh, Christian doesn't want kids. And it's like, okay, so you guys didn't talk about this before you got married. Like, do you even want children? It's like, maybe if you do, you should have made sure that he does. And
Mhm.
it wouldn't be very far-fetched to think that this crazy ass motherfucker doesn't want children. So if having children is important to you, you should maybe make sure.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, I would agree with that. And just the whole kidnapping sequence, being like, I can be like Christian and all this stuff. And that weird ass lady from her work that was also in on it. I'm like, get the fuck out. You're both horrible. It just feels like not the same movie franchise that we're watching.
When Anna turns into Vin Diesel, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
She used to drive a little bug, and now we're supposed to just believe that she's out chasing her security guards and losing this guy. I don't know. In a high speed chase. It was just weird. It's a
Her
weird
security
thing.
team is actual trash.
Noel Khan from Pretty
Noel
Little
Khan from Pretty Little
Liars.
Liars and fucking Taylor. Like, why are they all not fired? They've let so many things go in the third movie.
Hey, no Taylor slander here. I love Taylor. I think he's a gem in this series. It's Sawyer and Prescott in the third one that I'm like, y'all are trash.
Do you think that Taylor knows what's going on? Like, do you think that all of his staff know that he's like BDSM god over here?
They definitely do after Anna's like, I have something that we can restrain him with.
Oh, yeah,
She
that's
comes out
another
with shit.
cringe scene. We do. I mean, I do.
I didn't find that cringy. I think that's funny. I feel that's like showing a bit of like self-awareness of kind of being like, this is a little ridiculous, this life.
Yeah.
Or not this life. No shame. Like, I'm not trying to shame, but I think like the movie, you know, it's trying to like make kind of fun of itself. Which I think their chemistry, like Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan's, was so much better in the second and third movies because I think they realized after the first one came out, like, this is what this looks like and this is what we're dealing with. I think in the first one they were really trying their hardest to make it like the best that they absolutely could. And I still think they tried in the second and third, but I think they were a little more like, Edie's what Edie's.
Yeah, let's get that money and go.
Then I think they had more fun with it in the second and third one and were more playful with it. Rather in the first one, I think they were trying to like be really serious.
Yeah, with the third one especially, I think, when they were like, okay, so now it's Rita Ora is getting fucking kidnapped. Yeah, I think like there are some really good moments in the third one. I just don't. Whenever I think about it, I'm so put off by the weird turn that it takes. And I never read the books. I've only read the first one and not even the full thing. But I'm assuming that the books followed the same steps as they do in the movies. And so that's why they incorporated that. But I just think I wish it wasn't that way, because that's just always what I think of is the weird heisty, kidnappy stuff with Jack Hyde that goes on and them being like, what about Hyde? Where is he? It's like, we don't need this. Take me back to the Red Room. Like, I would rather have like 5 unnecessary Red Room scenes.
I think the second one is the perfect balance of having like higher stakes.
Yep.
But not getting over the top. Like the third one does. Like Leela coming back, this like old submissive who's gone off the deep end. Like that feels extra without being outrageous enough. And the stuff with Jack, like sexually harassing Anna at work, again, that's like extra, but not too much. And
Yeah.
then his helicopter crash, so like that little bit of danger and like, oh my god, I almost lost you. Again, extra, but not outrageous. But then when you throw in like a kidnapping plot, Jack out on bail, and Jack used to be in a foster home with Christian, it's just, it gets to be a little much. And
Yeah.
agreed, I haven't read the books either, but I would assume that they followed the books then, which maybe it plays out better in there, but it's not what we're looking for in the movie, you know? We want, just
Yeah.
bring us back to the Red Room. Can we have another ball or something?
Yeah, just more scenes with the two of them, which I know like that's basically the whole movie, but what's so bad about that? I don't know. I want to see them fighting more. I want to see them doing things more. I don't know.
I want to see them up on a helicopter or in a plane. Like, this is such a
Yeah.
bougie ass lifestyle that I will never ascend to, that I want to watch them doing rich people things. I don't want
Yeah.
to watch Anna trying to rescue his sister, that trying to rescue Rita Ora, when we're all just like, why is she even here?
I really like though in the third movie when it's that montage after their wedding with that Haley Steinfeld. I will never get that bitch's name correct. Her song playing over that, and it's like they're just going through Europe and drinking champagne and on all these private jets. I'm just like, what a
I
fun
aspire.
life.
I
Yeah.
know. Or in the third one, when they just get back from their honeymoon, and then maybe like 30 minutes later, Christian calls Anna at work, and he's like, come downstairs. We're going away for the weekend. He's like, you deserve the time off. And I'm like, y'all just got back from a European honeymoon, and now he's
Yeah.
taking you away again?
And all her
Ugh,
friends are
seriously, a
in the
vibe.
like private plane or whatever. Oh, that
Yeah.
is my dream. Like that would be so fun.
Katie, not that I'm not that I don't love Jack, and I'm very happy that you guys are happy and together, but I am kind of mad that you didn't like find a rich millionaire or like billionaire, who even knows, a rich billionaire that would take us on bougie trips like that, and then would also have a hot younger brother or older, you know me, that
Hmm.
then that I could date as well. And we could be
Yeah.
living this life. I mean, I love that you and Jack are so happy. And Jack, if you're listening, no shade, no tea to you. I'm just saying, if you would have had like a hot billionaire with a hot older brother, that would have been kind of a vibe.
Because then we could have been like Kate and Anna in this. I was very jealous of them, honestly. They were like out having fun and talking about their new men. And like, I was just jealous of them being out at the clubs and like doing all this fun stuff and living life in their 20s unrestricted by fucking COVID.
Yeah.
And
Not a
then just
mood.
happenstancely falling in love with a billionaire who's also really hot. I don't think there's many billionaires that are
I don't know, like Jeff Bezos is
dick.
yikes.
He looks like a peen. Okay, so here's my experience of rewatching all these movies this past weekend. The first one is on Hulu, and I was watching it, and they're fucking blurring out the boobs. And I was like, where the hell are the tatas? That's like half of this movie is just like being, because that's what brought people to theaters. Again, like, I can't explain it enough. This was like a big deal at the time. I know now every other show on Netflix is like booty here, titty there, but it ain't like it wasn't like that back in 2015, back in our
It was
day
a
when we were youngins.
trailblazer. Dakota
It was.
Johnson's boobs blazed the trail for other ones.
Remember at that one award show? I don't even remember what one it was, but she's like, y'all have seen my tits. She's just like up on the stage. She like, all of you have seen my boobs. And we're all just in the
It is what
audience
it
like,
is.
hell yeah, bitch, and they're fire. Like
Like, you have
sex
nice boobs.
positive USA, here we come. We still got a long way to go, but you know what?
Mhm.
50 Shades, open the door. Like, no more kink shaming. We're over that. As long as it's consensual. I just have so much to say. But anyways, yeah, so the titties were blurred out in the first movie. Was kind of pressed about that. So then I go on to Amazon Prime. I'm like trying to find uncensored, unrated version. Where's it at? It's $10 and it's linked up to my dad's account. And at this point, I have a couple drinks in me, and I'm just like, should I just pull the trigger and text my dad and be like, it's for work, dad, it's for the pod. here's $10, mind your business, please don't watch this. And that's what I did. I messaged Michaela, I was like, what should I do? And
We were
Jack,
snapping each other.
we were snapping each other. Jack was with me. He also influenced my decision to get the unrated version. So yeah, it was a good time. Today's were flopping everywhere, and we were able to see the full unrated, unrestrained version, which made up for the first movie that was the not so fun version. And then the third one, I also watched the unrated version of that. So I just wanted to walk you guys through my experience of rewatching these because honestly, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it all the way.
We're not in this for like the chitter chatter going on, you know? We want to see the boobs.
Yeah.
We're here for the boobs.
I like the
So-
chitter chatter that leads up to the frivolity that goes on because
Yes.
I like seeing how they get to that point and what gets them into these different scenarios. And it's not just them having the same type of sex every time. Sometimes there's ice cream involved. Sometimes there's anal beads involved. How do these things start? You know, how do we get to this
Mhm.
point? If we're watching all this stuff happen to just have blurred out nipples, I'm out on it. I'm sorry. I don't fuck with it.
I own all of these movies because, as y'all know, I worked at a video store, so I own them all. And every time the menu loads, it asks, do I want to watch the theatrical version or the unrated version? And I'm like, why is that even a question? Give me the unrated version. I didn't come here for the theatrical version. I've never watched the theatrical version, and I don't ever plan on it because we don't want it. And I agree with what Katie said. I like the chitter chatter because it gets to where we're going and like makes the sex more important or like better in the movie. And here's the thing. The sex in the movie is not just in there for the sake of sex. Like it's a very big part of their relationship and their character progressions. So like the sex means something in these. It's not just there for like shock value, which is what I appreciate. That's what I look for like in books too. I'm like, I don't just want like meaningless sex just thrown in there just for the sake of it. Like I want it to do something to the story and to the characters. And this is all very big in their relationship, and it's important that we see these scenes. It's not just because it's there for our enjoyment. It also really progresses the actual relationship.
And this is like an extreme example obviously in this movie, but people's sexual preferences can vary, you know, and can be influenced by their upbringing, which sounds weird, or like their life experience. And so often in film, we're not obviously seeing sex like portrayed in this way, but also it's very like cookie cutter, one type of like sexual interaction. It's either like a hookup or this like passionate love of your life thing. It's just a very nuanced way to view sex, and I get that it's different and it's extreme in this, but I genuinely do think that it opened American film watchers and film goers up to being more sex positive in their film viewing experiences, and honestly it gave the people what we already wanted and what we were going out looking for anyways on our own. So it made a bunch of money. And so anybody hating on it probably went and saw it or has seen it at some point in their lives.
And even though, like I said, I've never read the 50 Shades books, but even like what that did for the romance genre in general and like how that brought it more to the forefront, because as I've said before, romance is like the highest grossing book genre there is, and there's like people love it, so why would you not adapt it into movies when you know that it's going to make guaranteed money when it already makes guaranteed money on print? And I mean, these movies were huge at the time when they came out, and even still like people talk about them. If you want to hate on them, fine, but you probably contributed to the people getting money, and a lot of people are still getting checks from these movies to this day. So
it also has to do with like things that women love or groups of women love are always deemed ridiculous and stupid, and this was a huge
get
like
out of here.
book club favorite. And like I think people make fun of like middle-aged women who were really into this book, and it's like, why are they making fun of the women? What about the men who are failing to satisfy their wives in this way because they're too closed-minded and fucking tiny-dicked and fucking insecure about their own sexuality to experiment and be kinky like Mr. Grey? And so your wife is going out and reading a book. Oh, that's so horrible. She's reading a book for a book club and talking to her friends. Let's all make fun of her. No, bitch. Maybe it's your fault. Look inside yourself, you motherfucker. I'm very passionate.
She said it, folks.
They made that whole movie called The Book Club or whatever that was literally just making fun of women for being into 50 Shades of Grey. Do you remember that with Jane Fonda?
I do remember that. I watched that, yeah. And again, it's shamey. I'm so sick of women being shamed for liking things, and this is no exception. And I think it's like shamed for multiple reasons. Like as you said, I think it's like shaming the sex in it. I think it's like kink shaming. I think it's shaming just because women can't like anything without it being dubbed as like bad.
People kind of have the wrong idea about this movie too and think that it's harmful, which again, like, I don't want to deny people's feelings and like their experience with this movie or like their own personal experiences that might contribute to them feeling uncomfortable with this movie, but like he is consistently reminding her that she can leave whenever she wants and consistently,
Do you know your safe word?
yeah, like making sure she's safe, he's wearing protection, he's laying everything out on the table, like making sure she's aware of everything. He gives her the option to get rid of certain things that she does not want to do. Like it's very consensual, and I get that some of his behavior outside of the sexual context of things, like he's following her around and he shows up unannounced when she's visiting her mom, like that behavior is a little questionable. Him like texting her all the time and like sending her all these gifts, maybe not, but I think people get some of the wrong idea and like shame this movie further because think it's like harmful and abusive, and I don't think that is fair.
No, I agree. I think it's always made very explicitly clear that Anna has control over her own body and her own choices. I mean, and also, as I've said, I'm not like necessarily the moral compass to be speaking on this because I am like a very big reader and I do read a lot of romance. So I do read like some darker things or like toxic relationships in books. And like I've been very open about being like, a lot of times that's plot and I can like separate fiction from reality. So me looking at this relationship, yes, there are things that are questionable that in real life I would not tolerate. Like in the third one when she went out to drinks with Kate and he's mad that she didn't go straight home. Yeah. I'm kind of like, dude, that's not your choice. But you know what? She did it anyways. She was like, I don't care what Mr. Grey said. Take me to this bar. Like again, she's making her own choices. And when you look behind the reasons, like there literally is Jack Hyde out on the loose, like Christian is just trying to watch out for her. So it's not like he's doing it for no reason. Again, that doesn't mean that he can tell her what to do, but I'm just saying that like his actions don't come out of left field. Like I don't think he's controlling just for the sake of being controlling. I do think he's like genuinely worried about her safety or her like happiness, or when he wants her to cover up at the beach, he is like very aware that his wife could be shown on covers of magazines, maybe, or like topless, and maybe she wouldn't want that. I think we see multiple times that Anna obviously is always in control of herself and her body, and we do see her use a safe word or use her safe word in a sexual situation, and immediately he stops and unties her. Like, there's no questions, no pause. He does it right away. I'm kind of shocked, though. I'm surprised, Katie, that you're, like, not into it, but that you aren't as critical of it, because I thought you might be, consider, like, just your track record on things. I know. So I'm kind of surprised that you're on board with it.
I'm a changed woman. I don't know. I just really needed a night to not. Like, I needed a weekend to just let go and enjoy these movies, and I just had a good time. Like, I had a couple drinks, and I know that these are not good movies, but they're fun movies. They're fun to watch, and they do, again, have a special place in my heart. Like, one of Jack and I's first dates was going to see 50 Shades of Grey in theaters, and it was cute. Like, he surprised me because I'd been saying that I wanted to see it, and he was like, no, you know, I don't think that's a good idea. And like, he wasn't allowed to at the time. Anne and Jim, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I really hope you're not listening to this. Wow. Okay.
I hope no one. I hope our parents in general just know that this is like not the episode to click on.
Oh my god. Yeah, definitely not. But whatever. He took me out to eat, and then he like surprised me with going to see that movie after he'd been saying he didn't like think we should go see it. And it just brings me back to like pretty much when we first started dating, when this movie came out, and I remember listening to the soundtrack and thinking about him, and it's just fun memories to think back on. So maybe that's why I'm less critical about it. Obviously, guys, I know. I just think I'm tired. Y'all are tired. Like, I could talk about all the things that are questionable, but why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think the majority, like, there's no one under the age of like 16 listening to this podcast. And obviously, you know, if you're young, you should make sure that you are in a safe and like consensual relationship. And I just don't really think that this is the episode to be like talking super seriously. I don't think anybody's expecting that when we're talking about 50 Shades, and I don't think anybody goes into watching 50 Shades being like, I'm gonna learn something from watching this. Like, that's just not what this episode is. So yeah.
I think just in the time of COVID over the past year, I think people are just so bored. So there's just so much like negativity online. Not even just like negativity in general, because Katie and I are both like very pessimistic, and a lot of times we're just like, we have no hope for the future. But in terms of like bashing on things or like shaming people for things, this is not the movie to do it for. Like, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to spend my time shitting on this movie, shitting on this franchise, because yes, Katie and I could be picking out a bunch of red flags or like things that were not good in these movies, but I don't want to spend my time doing that. I want to spend my time enjoying talking about it because I enjoyed watching these. And I'm not going to try to shame anyone for liking them. Like, literally like what you want to like. I don't get why people would shame people for liking these movies or like these books. I'm just like, let people watch what they want to watch, read what they want to read, consume what they want to consume. And it's not, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, and it's like, as we said, legal and consensual, why do you care? If you're listening to this episode trying to like be snobby about these movies, it's not the time.
And there's a bunch of other episodes. That's what I was gonna say. If you want to hear us being like very critical or just being conscious of, not even conscious, if you want to hear us being very like articulate, or you guys know that there's episodes for that. And obviously, if you have issues with these movies, your experience is valid and whatever. And I don't, you know, but
then you don't have to watch it. You don't have to listen.
No.
Do your own thing.
Exactly. And I think we've talked about before how the portrayal of like toxic relationships isn't always healthy, but I think this is not as toxic again. And I could just because the drinks were flowing when I was rewatching these, but you know, part of the toxicity, and it's not even toxic, it's just him being overly protective, like when he, for example, when he covers her up at the beach. That leads into sex for them. Like, that is part of their kind of little game that they're playing with each other, and part of this relationship. Like, the parameters are set and they have changed, they have evolved. Christian has changed because of Anastasia, and again, that might be something that I would be like, I hate that trope of she can change him, and that's so harmful to be telling women like, oh, you can change him if he's mean to you or if he's abusive or whatever, you can change him and make him a better man. Probably not. But in this circumstance, Christian does grow because he wants to be a better person for Anna, but they maintain some of that original spice that started in their relationship of him being very like possessive over her, but she's still her own woman. You know, he's not legitimately being possessive over her. She still has control over her own life. And if she were to just like stay at home and be in the kitchen and like do what she was told, I don't think he would be as into it. And like, she wouldn't be the woman.
He likes it. He likes the rebellion against him.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't be the woman that he loves if she just didn't work and just did everything she was told. I think it's part of the fun. It's part of the, again, like their dynamic and like their sexual preferences. Yeah, not something that everybody has to understand, but it's fun to watch, and for their relationship, it's part of their sex life. So I don't know.
I do want to say one like actually really good film thing that I stand by in the first movie is the opening sequence, the opening montage. That does so much in such a short amount of time and with no dialogue whatsoever that is great setup for these movies that I will say like that genuinely like I feel stands up in terms of just like cinema. You see the two of them getting ready for their day. You learn a lot about Christian and a lot about Anna before even getting into it. And I love an opening montage.
Delayed gratification too. Like you don't fully see him until like she gets there. We don't get to see the Mr. Grey until she's in there and she falls and oh god. The
And then I love
montages.
well, and then I was gonna say, and then the montage at the end of the movie when they're
Yeah.
replaying and she's falling again, you're seeing their whole story play out. I get a little like emotional, not ever like tearing up, but I get like I get feelings when I see that every time because I'm like, we've been on a journey with these two,
Yeah.
and it's over, and now we've seen them go to their happily ever after, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, good for them. I feel like. I don't know. I feel a sense of serenity in that moment and like
Yeah.
nostalgia.
I think we said before on this pod, I love look how far we've come moment. And we get it
Mhm.
at the end of Twilight too. I think there's obviously a lot of similarities between this and Twilight because it's Twilight fan fiction. At the end of Twilight with that montage that Bella like shows Edward of their life together with the profound song playing in the background. It's just good. Like you can't deny that it's satisfying to watch and it's sweet and it's nice and it makes you think like life is made of these really important moments that are all like collectively, you know, make up your story and your life and like bring you and this person together and it's sweet. I don't know. I would love to see a little montage like that of you know, you and I or Jack and I or like me and my parents. Like it's just cool. I don't
Yeah.
know. I love all the montages in this. Like I said, right after their wedding, he's like reading the contract voiceover and she's like paging through it. I
Yeah.
love that moment too. So
Yeah, there are moments in here. I mean, Katie and I just love a montage, but the ones in this movie are really good. And also just the soundtrack that complements them all. The soundtracks to these movies, some of the top cinematic soundtracks of all time. So many bangers.
well, so
These
many like super prominent
incredible.
artists were part of this
Yeah.
at the time too. And like The Weeknd literally sang his song for this movie at the Super Bowl
I
last night.
know.
So like, I mean, it's good shit. And fucking Crazy in Love, Beyonce did a like remake, a recreation of that. And she did a second song for the first movie. Like Beyonce did 2 songs for 50 Shades of Grey. Like what?
Beyonce, The Weeknd, Ellie Goulding, Sia, Taylor Swift, Zayn.
Haley Steinfeld.
Come on, people. So many people put their time into making these songs for these movies. Oh, Halsey.
Nikki
too,
Heaton.
like-
Nike Heaton?
like,
Nikki Heaton?
Nikki Heaton, yeah.
That Ellie
Not
Goulding
many.
song, get like that's so good with the helicopter. I can't.
Yeah. Fucking vibe, okay? Watching these movies is escapism because
Yes.
they're living a life that I want to live.
They're just living life, period. Like they are outside of their home interacting with people. So anything like that that's fun and that I don't have to think too deeply about and that's not going to make me feel depressed and scared. I'm here for it right now, okay?
Mhm.
As we said, I'm tired. I'm sad the majority of the time. I'm broken. I'm like a second away from just going to sleep and sleeping for days. So
Hibernating.
hibernating. So let me have this, okay?
It kind of makes me mad that we have to sit here on this episode and how long have we spent just defending ourselves for enjoying this? Like we shouldn't need to do that. We shouldn't feel the need to defend liking something or enjoying watching something just because like it kind of makes me mad. Like I talked about in our pre-show again, like why we have to defend liking things.
Mhm.
why we as women feel like we have to, and it makes me mad that we had to feel like we had to defend ourselves this whole time. If you don't like these movies, then the only reason you're listening to this episode is to like hate listen, and I mean, thank you, give us that support, like give us those listens. I would hope if you're listening to this, you're at least like open-minded about enjoying these movies. But if you're just listening to hate listen, that's fine, because
Yeah. Well, and they're not for everybody, and I understand that, but like I'm too tired to hate on it. Yeah, sorry.
not everything is made for everyone, and that's okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is a cinematic masterpiece, but I do like the mirroring with the elevator at the beginning and him saying Anna and Christian. I mean, I know that it's kind of hokey and a little cringe, but I mean, it's like lovably cringy. And then at the end, when he's like Anna and she's like Christian, it's
Yeah.
good. And there's something about elevators for them. It's like their thing. It's a recurring, After's not doing anything like that. Like they don't have a special thing.
And these movies are pretty visually pleasing to watch. Like there are some really
Yes.
beautiful shots. But I mean, like, how can there not be when they're out on a boat in the middle of the water, or they're up in a helicopter, or they're in Europe? Like they're in these very beautiful settings. But also I feel like in the first one, even more than the second two, the first one just has a lot of like really pretty shots. I don't know, the first movie is like pretty visually appealing, honestly. I mean, all of them are, but the first one in particular.
Yeah, I think they're very visually pleasing to watch. Again, I think that it kind of has to be well done and well shot. I think like the first one's budget was right off the bat pretty good because they knew this was automatic money. The slogan for any content creation is sex sells, and there was no way that this movie wasn't going to do well just on that basis. Coming out of Valentine's Day, being reproduced from one of the most successful book franchises ever. So like it looks really good. It's not like Twilight or Hunger Games where like the first one doesn't look the same way that the following ones do. The first one is not an indie film.
Every actress went out for the role of Anna at the time for this. Like everyone that you can imagine was auditioning for this role. Like this role was huge to get. And do I think it did a lot for Dakota Johnson's career? I don't know. I think maybe put her into the mainstream audience more because she does tend to do a lot of indie work. I don't think it ended up actually really hurting her career.
Oh no, definitely not. I think anybody involved in this, honestly, like musicians kind of did really well after being involved in this, or like they were already well established. But yeah, Dakota Johnson, remember that movie How to Be Single?
Yes.
I kind of like that.
I was gonna say, I just bought it from Family Video and they were closing because it was only like $1. And I'm like, again, this is a movie that I don't think is that good, but why do I enjoy the hell out of it? I always am like, I feel like watching that movie. It's always the movies that are not that good that I'm always like, I feel like watching this.
It's not that good, but it's also not that bad. Like it's not
that bad.
It's not hard to watch. Like Rebel Wilson is fun to watch. Dakota Johnson was in the recreation of Suspiria recently, like a couple years ago, which is like a pretty big deal. So she's funny too. Like she's got a sense of humor. She's kind of self-aware, like you were talking about before. And I think I think she's perfect for this role. She doesn't take it too seriously. Like I think this would be way cringier if it were just like this really over sensual, very serious person. She has a really good personality, and from what I've seen of her on like talk shows and everything, that is her. She's kind of like Kristen Stewart in a way. Like she doesn't take herself too seriously.
I like Dakota Johnson a lot. Like as a celebrity, I like her.
Me too.
And I love her hair. She is ultimate hair goals for me. Like
that blunt bang.
Love her hair so much.
No one's doing that blunt bang like her.
It looks so good, and her hair is like long and healthy, and it's like the perfect shade of brunette that I want to be. Like literally, if I could have one celebrity's hair, it would be her hair. Hands down.
It gets better as the movies go on. It's like the good sex is making her hair better.
It's the best glow up of the whole film is her hair. It just because in the first movie it's not as good. It's a little dry. The color isn't as good. It's a little frizzy.
Well, she starts letting it down too later on. Yeah.
Second and third movie, shut up. It's incredible.
By the time she's like, you may call me Mrs. Grey, she has the due to be able to say that.
And Jamie Dornan's facial hair also gets better because in the first movie he's lacking, and by the third one he has like it's like subtle stubble, but it's a mood.
He's so hot. And again, like he doesn't take himself too seriously, I don't think. I think he's
No.
really good for this role. I think he almost has worse lines that he has to deliver. He
For
does it
sure.
with a certain level of grace and like humility. I don't know.
And I do think they work well together. Like, I think that was
Mhm.
a lot, like a criticism when they first came out, that people thought that they didn't have enough chemistry. But I think their like nervous energy in the first one fits very well. And I think both of them separately fit the characters perfectly. Again, I didn't read the books but like from what we get in the movie and everything, to
Mhm.
me, I feel like they completely embody it. I thought they were well cast. I think Rita Ora is the only one in here where I'm like, wait, like why? She just seems like a very random choice. No shade, no tea to Rita Ora, but she just seems very random in this movie. I think her character and just her.
I do think that like the whole mom and sister and the whole family just like immediately loving you as soon as they meet you, like trope, because that's in Twilight too, where I
Mhm.
guess Rosalie doesn't like Bella. But that aside, like how Alice and what's her name, Esme,
Yeah.
fucking just fawn over Bella right away, and like it's just not believable to me. Like how she's just like, you
Mhm.
must come to our gala. Like she's fucking nipping under your son's dress shirt. Like what? Why are you so open to letting her come?
Anna's clothes though, like her gala dress and then that pink dress that
Mm,
she's wearing when they're dancing around, her clothes in this, especially in the third movie too, when she's in like her corporate look.
yes.
Impeccable.
I love
Her
her
styling
suit
is
after the
great.
wedding too. Her little I want that.
Yes.
I love exiting the wedding in a suit. Like, all right,
I could
enough
see
of
that for
that.
you.
I'm
I
back
could
in
definitely see
pants.
that for you.
I just thought that was so classy and so
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah. It's
So
a rich
rich.
move. It's a rich move.
Because I want to ride in the limo to our private jet in pants.
Mm-hmm. And her wedding dress though too, stunning.
Stunning.
Stunning. And her lingerie and darker before that ball that she's wearing in, again, stunning. You can't
Yeah.
find that shit online. That's expensive stuff.
Did she leave those fucking beads in her vajay the whole time?
Yeah, until they got to the ball and then they had sex.
Damn, good for you, girly.
Which is your favorite movie out of the three and why? I think is it the first one?
It is the first one, not the version that I watched this past weekend, but yeah, I like the first one just because it's the one I watch the most and it never gets old for me. Granted, I don't
Mm-hmm.
watch it that often, like once a year. But yeah, it's just the nostalgic factor for me. Yours is the second one.
It is. Yeah. I like that we're in the world, it's established, and there's a little more like grit to it. It's a little edgier. It's a little sexier. I like the fight and the resolution and the getting back together. Again, I think her hair is a glow up. I just think overall it took like the first one and elevated it.
Yeah, totally.
And then the third one just took it too far. It was
Yeah.
just a little too much.
When did you first watch these movies? Or the first one, I guess.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out on DVD because I was working at Family Video, and I distinctly remember when these came in and I took it home for a pre-street, and because I had wanted to see it but I never went to go see it in theaters, probably because you had went with Jack and Allie probably went with a boyfriend, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go to this by myself.
Yeah.
So I never saw it. So then I waited for it to come out on DVD and I took it home and I watched it. I think I want to say on like my portable DVD player because I don't even think I had a TV in my
Yeah.
room at this point, and I wouldn't have watched it out in the living room. So I'm pretty sure that I watched it on my portable DVD player. And I
Fun.
remember because the Family Video account that I had was linked up to my parents' email. And when you check out a movie from Family Video, it emails you a copy of your like receipt with a due date. And I remember I got home and my mom was like, "Did you check anything out tonight?" And I said no. And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "No," because I didn't want to tell her that I took home 50 Shades. And it wasn't until I got in that then I realized that she got an email saying that I had checked it out.
Damn.
But when I was like 17, 18, I would have been 18 if I was working at Family Video. I don't want to tell her that I was watching
Right.
50 Shades. I don't want to give it more credit than it has. And same with the After franchise. Like, the After franchise only holds a special place in my heart because it was like what got me back into reading, which, like, again, I'm not going to say that those are good books, but like they really did get me back into reading and like made me discover a whole new genre
Yeah.
of reading, which is now like one of my favorites, the new adult genre. So like that holds a special place. And again, kind of this fits into that a bit of
Yeah.
like discovering the whole like romance genre in general. I'm here for it. I could sit here and like defend it, but we've done enough of that and I'm not going to.
Yeah, I think this was a fun, cute, fresh, laid back episode. I think I delivered my full potential. I don't think I could have given any more because I'm
I think you did great.
fucking exhausted, bitch.
So
Girlies.
guys,
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna do our little wrap up speech here.
Do it, bitch.
So anyways, this is the last episode of February, but do not fret. We have a fun March lineup coming. Again, we got some new movies. We got Katie's birthday episode that's going to be a fun time. So if you haven't already, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you subscribe and give us a rating and review. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you go to our Popcorn Chats homepage and hit that follow button so that way you also get notified when new episodes come out. If you're watching on the YouTubes, I'm sorry that you have to see our faces this whole time, but make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you're notified when our new episodes go up on YouTube. We know you are all on TikTok. Make sure you go on TikTok and follow Popcorn Chats Pod on there. That name is linked down in the description of this episode as well. I think that's it. All the rest of our stuff is in the bio too.
Bitch,
I don't
stop
care.
talking that shit. All right. I need to
We need to cut it.
We need
Cut
to
it here, folks.
put the child down for her nap. All right. Peace and blessings. See you in Women's
Peace and
March,
blessings.
bitch. Happy freaking
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day coming up. Bye. Lilas. Love you.
Lilas.
I just forgot our whole outro there for a sec.